Shaken, not stirred, the powder product that is changing things up for the drinking scene, and the San Diego group who wants to ban it.
I'm pretty impressed with the amount of crab traps that have been removed in the bay so far. Gives you an idea of the overwhelming mess that is out there that is actually ghost fishing in the bay.
Lost at sea, fishing gear at the bottom of the ocean floor, leaving marine life at risk. The challenges for crews who are trying to clean it all up.
One of the great things about coming back to a masterpiece is that there are layers yet to be explored.
On stage in San Diego, a classic love story ending with a broken heart. The artists and music that helped Madama Butterfly soar to new heights. KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Amitha Sharma. The presidential candidates are mobilizing in California. With the primary about 7 weeks away, the two Democratic candidates, Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, are quietly installing the nuts and bolts infrastructure for their campaigns, shopping for office space, hiring staff, and organizing volunteers. Republican frontrunner Donald Trump has hired a Republican strategist from the state capitol to run his operations here. Political consultant Tim Clark says this may be the most significant he has ever seen due to high interest.
And these are people that haven't voted in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. So there's excitement. Everybody's adjusting their turnout models. We think that turnout's going to be anywhere from 30 to 40 to 50% higher than it's been in past primaries over the past decade.
Trump's main rival, Ted Cruz, already mobilized his campaign forces in the state weeks ago. The California primary is scheduled for June 7th. A new field poll shows Sanders is gaining momentum among Latinos in the state. In the last 2 months, the Vermont senator has cut Clinton's lead to just 7 points among Latino voters. In October, he was behind 30 points. There are 4 million registered Latino voters in California, but another 2 million Latino adults are not registered. The field poll director says the race between Clinton and Sanders is very much up for grabs in the state. Border agents say they found another tunnel running between the U.S. and Mexico. It's in Calexico on the U.S. side. An agent found it while patrolling the All-American Canal. The tunnel is 142 feet long with electrical wiring and lumber to support the walls. The U.S. side ends in a hole just 18 inches around. Agents say the tunnels are a significant security threat. They say anything or anyone can come through the tunnels. The fate of millions is now hanging in the balance of a key immigration case. The Supreme Court will hear arguments on President Obama's program aimed at saving nearly 4 million people from deportation. Associated Press reporter Kelly Daschle says states are challenging the power of the executive branch.
Like many parents across the country, Teresa Garcia gets her daughter ready for school.
Have a nice day. See you then.
Cooks for her family.
Oh, Doña Soco.
Yeah.
Volunteers. But in 2002, Garcia entered the United States from Mexico with a visa and stayed beyond the expiration date. Now, like scores of immigrants who are in the country illegally, Garcia is waiting for the Supreme Court to rule on President Barack Obama's executive action that would permit many parents of American citizens or permanent resident children to live and work openly in the country.
Having a social security number is going to give me the opportunity to have that job that I was dreaming.
The Deferred Action for Parents of Americans, or DAPA, would allow 3 to 4 million people to seek temporary work permits. President Obama announced the program in 2014 after Republicans took control of the Senate and a bipartisan immigration reform bill stalled.
We don't have the resources to deport 11 million people out of the country, and we recognize, and there's a broad bipartisan consensus to give people an opportunity to stay here who have deep ties to the community, and we don't want to split up families.
But Texas and 25 states sued the government, challenging the program on various grounds, including its constitutionality, arguing that Obama doesn't have the power to enact these immigration changes.
And that the only group that can change that statute is Congress.
Arguments before the justices are scheduled next week, with a ruling expected by June. With the death of Justice Antonin Scalia, a Supreme Court tie would effectively kill the program by upholding a lower court ruling.
It's hard for me to know. I don't have a crystal ball about how the court's going to react without him on there, but fundamentally, we think we have a good case no matter who's on the court.
And if I have to continue on the shadows doing what I am doing right now, I will do it. Because I want the best for my kids.
Garcia's daughter was born in the U.S., and her two sons' futures are more secure, having benefited from a program for children immigrants. An expansion of that program is on hold as part of the Supreme Court case.
DACA gave me an opportunity. Okay, this is a life changer. Feel more welcomed here in America, per se.
The same welcome Omar Miranda wants for his mother. Kelly Daschle, Associated Press.
More than 80 business leaders and government officials from San Diego and Baja are heading to Mexico City this weekend. They plan to persuade the Mexican government to support several cross-border initiatives. That includes Ped West, a new pedestrian crossing in San Ysidro that has seen some construction delays in Mexico.
We're talking about a project that meets at the border, so it requires that binational cooperation. And right now the construction is not in sync.
Ped West is scheduled to open in June. Another powerful earthquake struck Japan today. It had a preliminary magnitude of 7.3. This just 24 hours after a smaller quake hit the same region, killing 9 people and bringing down buildings. Hundreds were injured in the series of quakes and aftershocks. Researchers at the Scripps Institution of Oceanography and UC San Diego just got a new launching pad for their lab, the ocean.
Everybody, go. Yeah. There we go.
They now have a new pier, which was reopened today at the Nimitz Marine Facility in Point Loma. Bruce Applegate, head of Scripps Ship Operations and Machine Technical Support, says the facility is well positioned to be the country's finest oceanographic support center for the next 50 years.
And since 1967, this has been the home port for Scripps ships. And for the 50 years since, the women and men of Scripps have ventured from this facility on great expeditions that have made fundamental observations from our research vessels that have revealed the secrets of the earth, the oceans, the atmosphere. And these discoveries have really enabled our understanding of phenomena that have had profound impacts on the well-being of humanity.
In addition to the pier, the facility has a new wharf, better berthing, and improved environmental protection systems.
All of this was done for the sake of science, that UC San Diego and before that Scripps Oceanography pioneered.
The entire project cost almost $20 million.
The facility is also the future home of a new research vessel named after astronaut Sally Ride. Pretty soon, making a cocktail could be as simple as just adding water. Palcohol is powdered alcohol, and KPBS reporter Matt Bowler says some would like to see it banned in California.
On the left, a shot glass full of vodka, next to a regular-sized glass, a third of the way full with powdered alcohol.
These are equal amounts of alcohol.
Mark Phillips, the creator of powdered alcohol, or Palcohol, says his product is as safe as liquid alcohol. San Diego's alcohol policy panel hosted a presentation from Jorge Castillo, who's working to ban powdered alcohol in California. Currently, there are 2 bills in the California legislature to prohibit Palcohol. Castillo says Palcohol is dangerous.
Powdered alcohol, you can easily hide it, conceal it, mix it with other drinks, and we believe that it poses a public health danger.
Castillo says working families will be the most affected.
This product is going to be sold at corner liquor stores, at grocery stores. And the people who have the most to lose are families, working class families, that are just trying to make a living, that are trying to get by, and they don't need more problems.
Alcohol creator Phillips says those looking to ban his product aren't being reasonable.
They're caught up in the hysteria about the imagined and unfounded misuse of powdered alcohol.
Currently, 27 states have a ban on powdered alcohol. In California, legislature to ban the substance is still in committee. Matt Bowler, KPBS News.
A new invasive species of tumbleweed is rapidly spreading across California. UC Riverside research shows the new species has expanded over a wide geographical area of California since it was first identified in 2002. Besides crowding out native plants and crops, the tumbleweeds, which reach 6 feet in diameter, can often be a highway hazard. Researchers collected tumbleweed from 53 sites in California in 2012. The new species was found at 15 of those locations, including coastal areas around San Francisco and Ventura. Long before Southern California was paved over with freeways and Los Angeles was home to a concrete-bottomed river, the region was teeming with snakes, slugs, spiders, and uncounted numbers of tiny creatures. Scientists at an LA museum say it still is.
We're in a biodiversity hotspot, one of 35 in the world. We're on par in California, here in LA right now, with the island of Madagascar and the tropical Andes.
The Los Angeles Natural History Museum just opened their Urban Nature Research Center, which will serve as the headquarters for the nation's first study of its kind. Using the surrounding area as its research lab, they want to find and catalog each and every organism in the biodiversity hotspot, and they can't do it alone. They're urging residents to snap photos of any interesting bugs, reptiles, or plants and send them along. Urban farms are cropping up in many cities across the country as a strategy to enhance biodiversity. In tonight's SciTech Report, Anne-Marie Berger explains how one Midwest farm has taken this to a whole new level.
Farming, it's not just for wide open spaces. There's a new greener trend in urban areas, rooftop farming. And on top of this two-story storage building in downtown St. Louis, farmers began planting roots this past summer.
So this area that you see in front of you is going to become a real functioning farm with plants in the ground, soil on top of the roof, and it's going to also become part of a community garden as well for the city.
Food Roof Farm is the vision of Urban Harvest STL, a community organization working to transform underutilized city spaces into productive local food systems. This building is structurally strong enough to hold the weight of the farm. But before seeds could be planted and vegetables could grow, the roof required a makeover. It was redesigned and engineered specifically for a green roof system. A green roof can have many layers, root barriers, drainage and retention systems, and vegetation. But the first step is waterproofing.
What we're doing is putting down a whole new roof membrane on this existing building's rooftop, and it's a membrane that's specifically engineered and designed to be compatible for a green roof system. So it's a different type of membrane. It's a PVC membrane versus this tar-based membrane, and that really becomes the foundation for the food roof altogether and how water drains underneath the farm itself.
Proper water drainage, it's critical. But a green roof isn't a green roof without water retention.
What you're seeing here, this is a stormwater retention system.
Anthony Mayer is the CEO of Hanging Gardens out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And he's installing on this food roof the latest water-conserving technology.
These cups are filled with a lightweight aggregate. This is a drainage stone. They go all the way down to the bottom of these cups, and the cups have a flat bottom. They don't drain on the bottom. These cups here will hold just about 2 inches of rainwater, and any additional water will go down the slits right here and then follow these channels. These are all channels that allow water to move through the entire system. When the sun beats down on the entire system, even if the cups are full, it'll evaporate out and then actually feed the plants from below.
Helping to feed the plants is the growth media. Simply put, it's the carefully engineered soil product that mimics dirt, supplying plants with nutrients, air, and water.
The FDA is saying, eat your 5 to 7, 5 to 9 vegetables a day and fruits, but they're the most polluted of all of our food. And so using this will give them the right nutrients without the pollution, the pesticides, and the chemicals that go into it.
The growing media on Food Roof Farm is called the Water Grip Brownie, and it's half the weight of normal growing media. It's made of an organic mix of proprietary ingredients that acts like a sponge, pulling water from the cups and feeding the roots of the plants.
You just put a little hole in it, you pop in your plant.
And using conserved rainwater reduces the irrigation needs by 50 to 75%.
There is no growing media on the market that has the same water holding capacity as this system does. And so when this holds 2 inches of water, I mean, just in itself, your normal growing media, might get you, 1.25 inches.
But this green roof system does more than help water the plants. It lessens the amount of water that flows through the city's storm and sewer drains, mitigating stormwater management and polluted runoff in adjacent rivers, streams, and lakes. In their first growing season on just a fifth of an acre rooftop, Food Roof Farm produced 62 varieties of food crops and more than 1,000 pounds of food, most of which was donated to a local homeless shelter.
You can see more tech stories like this on SciTech Now this Sunday at 5:30 on KPBS television. San Diego is looking at a mild and dry weekend, but hang on to your hats. It's quite breezy out there. Steph Davis has more on the season temperatures in tonight's KPBS weather report.
Happy Friday, everyone, and the weather looking pretty nice across much of the Golden State. You'll notice dry conditions from Northern California south towards SoCal. Now, we do have some activity here across the Four Corners with some rain and snow showers, but much of California is remaining dry thanks to a ridge of high pressure. Kicking off the weekend for your Friday night, nothing to worry about weather-wise from Borrego Springs to Mount Laguna all the way towards the coast. You'll notice just some clouds rolling through, but we are expecting a mostly dry forecast. Temperature-wise tonight, falling back to 58 degrees in Borrego Springs, 39 tonight in Mount Laguna. Back to the upper 40s we go in Ramona and Alpine. Your overnight low in Oceanside is 44 degrees, 58, and a mix and a couple of clouds building in for your night in San Diego. Looking ahead to the day tomorrow, dry and mild across much of Southern California with our high pressure system strengthening. Now, the one thing we do need to watch are gusty winds for the rest of today and into your Saturday as well. And so the National Weather Service has issued a wind advisory in effect through Saturday. The major gusts will be on the mountain peaks, and also watch for blowing and drifting sand and dust in the deserts that can definitely lead to some travel delays. Here's a look at your 5-day outlook for the coast. Sunny and warmer for your Saturday. High temperature 79, 81 with plenty of bright sun to enjoy on Sunday, and then a quiet and pleasant weather pattern to look forward to next week. Mostly sunny and into the 70s we go Monday, Tuesday, and into the day on Wednesday. 5-day outlook inland showing nice conditions for your Saturday, pleasant and warmer with plenty of bright sunshine as we kick off the weekend. Wall-to-wall sunshine Sunday as daytime highs climb to the low 80s. Will remain in the low 80s Monday and into Tuesday, so a fairly mild stretch of weather here. Mostly sunny and nice as we look ahead to the midweek Wednesday. Your daytime high inland is 77 degrees. 5-day outlook across the mountains, still breezy tomorrow. Daytime high 61, plenty of sun Sunday, and then temperatures climb. 71 your high on Monday. Into the mid-70s we go for Tuesday and Wednesday. 5-day outlook for the deserts, plenty of bright sunshine straight throughout the weekend with your daytime highs in the upper 80s. We're going to hit that 90-degree mark on Monday, and then temperatures really take off Tuesday and Wednesday. Going to be a warm midweek with your daytime high Wednesday at 95 degrees. Steph Davis, KPBS News.
Mayor Kevin Faulconer met with Chargers and tourism officials today about plans to build a stadium and convention center annex in downtown San Diego. The Chargers recently unveiled its nearly $2 billion Convadium plan. Voters need to take it up in November because it increases hotel room taxes to 16% for funding. Today's meeting ended with everyone agreeing to continue talking about the plan. The search for lost and abandoned fishing gear could help save marine life. Associated Press reporter Kathy Matheson takes us below the surface to show us the workers behind ghost fishing.
Beneath the surface of this sparkling water lies a dirty secret.
The bay's bottom is littered with abandoned crab pots. John Wennick has been grappling with the problem for months.
Our target goal is to get about 1,000 crab pots out of the whole entire Barnegat Bay system. We can go in certain areas and find clusters of dozens and dozens of pots.
It's called ghost fishing, lost or abandoned equipment that accidentally kills marine life. Experts say commercial fishermen lose about 10% of their traps each year to bad weather, currents, or accidents. Wennick and others have recently recovered more than 400 derelict crab pots. Most will be recycled.
I'm pretty impressed with the amount of crab traps that have been removed in the bay so far. Gives you an idea of the overwhelming mess that is out there that is actually ghost fishing in the bay.
It's not just a problem in New Jersey. A Dutch diver horrified by the forgotten debris he discovered created the Ghost Fishing Foundation to promote awareness and cleanups. It's a difficult task.
Right up the starboard, like 5 feet.
Even with sonar, the New Jersey team recovered only one pot on this windy day. Inside, they found the remains of at least 2 turtles.
They need to come to the surface to breathe air, and if they're trapped in a pot that's submerged, there's going to be no chance for them to kind of survive.
Advocates say redesigned traps could reduce accidental deaths, but that won't prevent the gear from being lost. Kathy Matheson, Associated Press, Waretown, New Jersey.
Puccini's Madama Butterfly is a popular and frequently performed opera, but San Diego Opera's production promises to find something new. KPBS Arts reporter Beth Accomando goes behind the scenes.
Puccini's Madama Butterfly is a classic that keeps attracting audiences because they know what they're going to get. Love, unswerving devotion, and ultimately betrayal. But stage director Garnet Bruce also wants to challenge them with something different.
One of the great things about coming back to a masterpiece is that there are layers yet to be explored. So it could be a familiar drive, it's a familiar tune, but when you have different people, you learn different things and different aspects about the characters. Working this time with Madama Butterfly, LaTonya Moore brings an energy and a courage to the role. The courage that she has in her vocals and in her expectations. You'll see a moment when she's waiting for Pinkerton where she has that moment where we're all waiting for the phone to ring or somebody to call us back or someone to show up when we've been stood up.
The one standing her up is Benjamin Franklin Pinkerton, sung by tenor Theodore Ilinke.
I don't like the character. No one does. It doesn't matter because the music is so beautiful and someone have to sing it.
Pinkerton misleads Cho-Cho-san into thinking he's marrying her out of love. The story focuses on her passionate devotion to him.
I mean, you just feel for her. And so she brings all of that very much to the forefront. She's not as reserved as some other sort of porcelain goddesses, but she fulfills every moment of music and text with energy and beauty.
One difference from many other productions is this one cast 2 African-American women as Cho-Cho-san and her maid Suzuki.
Opera definitely calls for people to use their imagination. And fortunately, San Diego Opera has cast LaTonya and I being African-American females. Clearly we're not Japanese. So it forces people to use their imagination, and it forces us to really do a lot of character work. In the end, none of these stories are real, so we should be able to use our imagination.
Think about it. This is an opera sung in Italian about a Japanese geisha and an American naval officer. Realism is not what's first and foremost in anyone's mind. Instead, it's all about the emotions created by the combination of music and voice.
Opera has long been a place where the voice is first, and you find the best voice you can, and everything else we believe. So whether it's Leontine Price or LaTonya Moore, we are going to believe because they sing and inhabit the words and the music so well to a place where we suspend everything else. We're embracing the diversity that we have amongst our chorus and amongst our society. I want the honesty emotion to happen. So the honesty is really what's important to me about the characters and the way that they move and relate to one another, because I think that tells the best story.
Opera is also about scale. The set for Madama Butterfly delivers on that larger-than-life sensibility.
There are no 25-foot shoji screens in life. Cherry trees usually don't grow to 40 feet tall, but we have them on an operatic stage so that we have something of the scale of the emotion.
But there's also a sense of elegant Japanese simplicity.
There is a minimalist quality to this set. However, there are many panels that are being moved back and forth across the stage, and I, being the maid, am in charge of a lot of that movement.
The set is basically a white scrim, and so working from the world of Japanese watercolor, you're starting with a blank page. And so with our lighting designer, Chris Rinn, we're able to add levels of color, sometimes in a pastel, sometimes in a washed out, and sometimes with a pure saturated color, a red or an orange or a blue or a purple. And so the set is like a chameleon, and it changes for the additional moods and emotions that Puccini put in the score when you hear the different textures of the orchestra, which is why you should see and hear an opera in the building, because you get both the top and the bottom of the sound wave with its visual component.
In other words, San Diego Opera's Madama Butterfly serves up the whole package. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
San Diego Opera's Madama Butterfly has 4 performances at the Civic Theater starting this Saturday. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thank you for joining us. Have a great evening.